So I thought I'd do something new and take you through working through this green screen footage of Hugo Simpson. So we filmed this in our studio just yesterday. So I'll now need to prepare this for my editor. So I'll need to take the green screen off and get it all ready. So this is what I do. So we're using DaVinci Resolve, which is very good editing software. We use Fusion. So what I do to start with is I want to see what this footage is going to look like with colour. So we film flat on a red cinema camera. So I'll put a LUT on. We'll do high contrast, soft size. Okay, and what I'm looking for in Resolve, we need to make sure that we've got the raw settings set up properly. So we're using a red cinema camera, full res. We want to bring in the camera metadata, so any settings that we've done on set, for example the exposure, colour temperature, tint, all that stuff I want to bring in from the camera. So we're going to do that, those settings here, use camera metadata. So we'll save that. Okay, that's looking very bright. Let's have a look at what's going on there.
So
let's try and resolve this. That looks too bright. Let's do the same one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that first treatment that I've done, pressing Shift, apply composition. So now I've duplicated what I did on the first clip to the second clip. So what I'm seeing is it might be okay, but it looks slightly bright. Let's have a look in the color settings. I'm going to go to the raw tab. We'll do clip. So the ISO is on 800. I might drop that down to 640 for here because it just looks slightly bright. We can always brighten it up later. I think that looks a bit more balanced. Okay, so now I'm going to... Oh, I see, because... So we had a window outside, and I think... the light might have been changing a little bit, so we'll have to do a little bit of messing around with that, which is fine. We'll go back to 800. Okay.
So, well...
This clip's too bright, so we'll go back to that. Colour, clip. We'll take that one down to 640. 500 even, I think. Okay, fine. Let's just check this is right.
So, welcome to online.
Okay. I'm going to mute the sounds, we're not really using that.
The
Okay.
To be ordinance, and then once you went.
This is what I do. Okay, cool. Just checking the live was still on. Okay, so we're in a good position here. So yeah, okay, I'm happy with monitoring with this color. So the second clip has the colors that I want. So I'm going to go back into Fusion and note that second clip there. We'll just go to all the other clips and we'll say Shift, apply composition, because we like the first one. Done. Okay, so now we have all the clips with a colour that we can use. That's brilliant. So that's looking great. So 6K in action there, where we get all the detail. So what we're going to do now, and bearing in mind this session is just about preparing this footage to send to my editors, who will then put the backgrounds on and all the text and all that kind of stuff. So this is really just a quick, simple session. Get rid of the green screen and prepare the footage for sending off to the rest of the team. So let's go to that second clip. Now what I start with, after we've done the colour, clean plate. Clean plate is absolutely magic. So what we do is we drag that onto there, and you can see he's gone. So that's where we started, and now he's gone. So what the clean plate will do is it will plug into the DELTAKEYER, which is the keying software, and all it does is it creates an image of the green screen, and it will then kind of do some magic and remove those pixels from the first image. So you'll see it become clear soon. So what we'll do now is we need to create a whole green block. So there's some approximations going on. It does a bit of magic, but what we'll do is we'll grow the edges, and we want to fill. So with a road, there we go. So now that's gone. I'll check through the footage as well and make sure that he doesn't creep back in. But that's brilliant. So that's that. That's done. I'm happy with that. So now we've got a green block. We'll set that aside. And now I'm going to add the DELTAKEYER in. We need to do a little bit of changing on these. So the clean plate gets its source. This is the source image. So if I press 1 on that, that's where we started. And then we applied the colour LUTs. And then we've sorted out the green plate. And now from this same coloured feed, we're also going to bring in the DELTAKEYER. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tell the DELTAKEYER, which is the keying software that deals with green screen, we are going to say we want to use this clean plate, which is effectively, these are the pixels we don't want. So I'm going to plug this clean plate directly into the DELTAKEYER as a clean plate. That shouldn't be connected to the output. We're going to connect the DELTAKEYER to the output. Look. Brilliant. Look at that. So let's just get rid of all the mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a really quick, simple mask. Sometimes he moves his arms around, so we'll allow for that. I'm going to go right up to the edge of the green screen here in case he puts his arms in the air. I'm going to remove this from the keying just so that it doesn't copy every frame. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this shape to the DELTAKEYER as a garbage mat, saying we don't want anything else in it. We're going to invert that. Look at that. Okay, so let's check the output. Look at that. So on the first screen I'll put the original, and now we've got Hugo. He's not on a green screen. Red Cinema camera, 6K resolution, and it looks perfect. So I'm really happy with that. That's not where it ends though. So if you do actually put a background on that, you'll start to see it fall apart. So what I'm going to do now, let's look at the final image over here. I'm going to turn the alpha on. So this grid here shows the transparency for this particular composite. So this image, Hugo is the pixels that we want to keep, and the background checkerboard is the pixels that we are trying to get rid of because we want to put him on top of a new background, whether it's a simple plain background or just something more elaborate. So what we're going to do is we want to just tidy this up so that whenever I send Hugo around to my editing team, that these pixels are all very, very nice and neat. So for example, you can actually see holes in his silhouette, and this is the alpha channel, which tells it tells the software which pixels we want to keep and which ones we don't. So obviously we want the whole of Hugo. We don't want some of his clothes or his body to be in it. We want the whole thing. So this should be solid white. So obviously there might be some green in his blazer. It's all really minor stuff, but essentially what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up this alpha mask so that we have a total pristine image, which I think will probably be missed out by a lot of people, but you know, we're doing this properly. So let's zoom into that here, and we want to now, I don't know if I think I'll demonstrate that real quick. So I'll create a background. Let's do a crazy colour. I'll do bright pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer him on top of this background. Let's have a look. See, this stuff is really subtle, so you can't really see it. Actually, you might be able to see it there. Let's change the colour of this. Okay, brilliant. So, you can see, we're looking at his jacket. The background shouldn't be affecting any of these clothes here. So if I change the colour of this background, you can actually see that it's affecting the button. It shouldn't. This button should be totally, and ignore the noise. We haven't done a denoise process on this yet, so it's going to be slightly noisy. But yeah, so if you look at that button, it's picking up the colour from behind, and it shouldn't do that. So anyway, back to what we were doing. That's because there's holes in the mask, basically. There's holes in Hugo, there shouldn't be. So these black dots, it's unsure if that's Hugo or if it's the background. So we're going to tidy that up right now. So all I do is I go into the Delta key, I make sure I've got the alpha mask up, and we are going to threshold, high one. We're going to bring that down. Look at that. So you don't notice this stuff on here, but when you start adding backgrounds and that sort of stuff, that's when this stuff really starts to notice, and it really starts to change how professional the result is. So now let's go straight to the button, because that was the problematic area. So I'm going to bring this slider down. Look, let's take the button away, and we don't want to take too much, because if you take too much, you will actually start seeing issues with the hair. So if you see here, the more you take that down, the more it cuts into the hair, and we don't want to do that. We don't want like a sharp line. So you take it down right to the point. So I'm actually going to allow a little bit in there, because they are very small pixels. So I don't want to mess the hair up too much. And we're doing quite a rough version here. Look at that. Okay, so that's that. Now that silhouette is much more solid. So that's that done. Also with a green screen you get spill, so might not be too obvious, but around the sides, especially around the face here, it gets a little bit green sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a well done de-green, basically, de-spill. It will need a bit more work. There is slight green tinge there. What I can often do here is just do a quick hue curves, and I'll just pick the green one here, and I will bring it down. Do you see that? Look, let's zoom right in on this. So look, off, green, on, no green. I don't like to do it too much. I'm quite like to do it tastefully. So let's just go back to this slider, bring it up to green, and what I'll do, I think I'll just put it here. Oh, I think we've done the wrong one there. So add that back, do green, okay, then we just pull that down very slightly. That's all I want to do. Okay. Look at that. So that's that. So we've got our mask. There is one other thing. It does on the. So we've done the highlights of the mask, but also there's actually hidden noise and garbage that we just want to get rid of or clean up. So to show that, we need to exaggerate the shadows. So what I can do is that you see around him there's a bit of noise. We don't want that, so that's really easy to clear up without affecting the whole image. So we go back to the matte. All we do is just bring that slider up there. It just makes a really solid image. Not losing any pixels, not got any noise in there. Okay, so I'm really happy with that. So I think I'll leave that there today, because that's pretty much that. And then what I'll do is I will grab all of these and I will probably just apply composition, so it'll be the same treatment across the board. So I will continue to do is I'll probably do a bit of denoising, maybe some slight treatment to the face, smoothing it out very, very slightly. But we want to keep all the detail, and I think the images come out really, really well. And that's how we pre-treat the green screen before sending it to the editors for all the motion design and the graphics work that they will do afterwards. So that's the process. Using DaVinci Resolve, sticking the LUT on. I'll go through the process one more time. Take the alpha off. Okay, so we'll put that back to normal. Okay. So we started with the image from the camera, which comes out as a negative. I'll put this image as the last image on the right. So that's where we got to for now. So then secondly, we started with the first image from the camera. We did a bit of exposure adjustments. We put a standard REC709 TV LUT on. We then created a clean plate, which was to say these are the pixels we want to get rid of. This is the smoothed out green screen, as if he wasn't on it. And we plugged that into the DELTAKEYER, which is a bit of software that works with green screen and removes the green screen essentially. We also created a polygon mask to get rid, if we don't have that on, we still have all of the room, so we want to get rid of the room. So we plugged the polygon mask into the garbage matte channel of the DELTAKEYER. I then decided that there was a little bit of, so we treated the spill around the edges. I did a well done spill reduction. If you take none, it will be slight green cast on there. You can do burnt. See, that's the opposite direction. Don't want too much. So we'll do well done, which is a kind of an industry standard. People go well done. So we did a bit of spill reduction there, but then I still noticed that, let's go back to this. So on the right, yeah, you can see that. So this is where we're at. This is DELTAKEYER just with the standard spill reduction, but I decided that on the left there's still a bit of green on the shadows on the side, especially where his head is near the green screen. So I didn't like that, and I went to hue curves after that. So you'll see, let's go to the image on the left now. So now the image on the left is showing with the hue curves, and I'm going to audition that on and off, and you can see the difference that's making. So this is without the curves on. You've got a slight green tinge to the shadows. I don't like that. So now I'm going to turn that back on, and that green's gone. And that's just a tiny little reduction of the green channel with the hue curves, and that's done. So that's that. So I'm really happy with that. We then checked the alpha map. So we went to the DELTAKEYER, and we put that into box 1, and we said, let's have a look at the alpha. And we decided that there were a few holes in the alpha channel. So in matte, we cleaned those up with the threshold sliders. And that, where we demonstrated with the pink box behind, we cleaned that up so that all of the pixels are specific. So we know what's Hugo and what's not, what's the background and what's Hugo. So that's very, very well defined now. And that's it. The image is ready. So we'll render that out with alpha for the editors to do their magic with the motion design and text and anything else that Hugo needs putting together. That's it.